So Liverpool were able to hold Manchester City. I mean, it was such a game. I mean, a game that you look at the dynamics of the game, you look at how Liverpool started the game, look at how Manchester City started the game, and of course, the dynamics of the English Premier League. You look at all of these things and look at exactly how Liverpool were able to hold Manchester City, how they were able to um, um, weather the storm in the first half and tweak things in the second half and get the best out of them, then it shows you the quality of the team that Jurgen Klopp has built. And I remember before the game, a lot of Liverpool fans had said that they trust Jurgen Klopp. They even trust him to the extent that they expect him to squeeze water out of the rock, nearly the impossible. But then the best for that game was supposed to be a draw for them. But then again, you look at the game in a game state for the 90 minutes, and by far you expect that Liverpool could have gotten something, especially in the second half where they suffocated Manchester City so much. And then the midfield dynamic of Endo Ouattara, Domenico Szoboszlai in the middle of the park, of course, Alexis McAllister was so important. Of course, you look at someone like Jairo Kwanzaa, and you don't see a player who is young. You don't see somebody who has less in confidence. Look at Bradley. Look at, of course, Virgil van Dijk, and the quality of a centre back that he was in that last stage attack as the defense, and when he was left 1v1 with Erling Braut Haaland. And the game in itself tells the rivalry of Liverpool and Manchester City. Regardless of the fact that City have been so good, they go to almost every ground in England, they beat everybody, almost everybody in England. I mean, of course, in Europe. But then there's just one team that they find it literally very difficult for them to beat, and it is Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. And it was clear at Anfield that regardless of how good City were going to be, how good the dynamics are going to be, how good the team was, and regardless of the injuries that Liverpool had, it was never going to be an easy game for them to play against. And it was clear that they were not going to get it easy. You look at the game in itself, in a game state of 90 minutes, it was pure excellent job done by Jurgen Klopp and his team, getting the best out of the boys, combing them, playing exactly to the tune of exactly what he wants from them. And especially in the context of the absence of Trent Alexander, who was supposed to be the creator in chief for Liverpool. Also, Ibrahim Konate, putting into perspective how physical the games have been in recent times. That was obviously going to be a big miss also for them. Ibu Konate was missed. And then, of course, Manchester City tried. Virgil van Dijk, what's his name? Erling Haaland will try to use the physicality that he has against Jair Kwanzaa. But in the match team, collectively, I think Liverpool were a very, very good bunch in terms of defending defensive collectively against Manchester City. And I mean, it sets that stone. It's about 10 games more to go in the English Premier League. After the win that Arsenal had yesterday, and off the back of the game that Liverpool had today, it puts it into perspective. You lose your game, you are out. You lose, you are out. And Arsenal are supposed to travel to City. I think after the international break, I think there's a Brighton game for Liverpool or so. Then Arsenal do have Chelsea as well on the horizon. These are potential banana slips that either of them can have. And again, the big one that Arsenal are going to have against Etihad is a big game, especially in the context of who wins the English Premier League in that regard. And you just can't help but lick your lip and know that there are 10 games of exciting times in the English Premier League that are going to come up. So you just brace yourself, put on your seatbelt, put yourself on cruise control, and enjoy the game. But then that was a game that Man City literally stretched Liverpool in the first half, and in the second half, Liverpool had loads of answers for them. Of course, Liverpool went into the game with Kelleher in post, and there's a goalkeeper that has grown in confidence. And almost every time that Alisson is out of the team, he comes in and delivers for Liverpool. Again, the absence of Ibu Konate was supposed to be a big blow for Liverpool, but Jairo Kwanzaa slots in just fine. And I like the fact that um, Jurgen Klopp realized that in the absence of Ibu Konate, then he will need an extra physicality, even if he's playing Jairo Kwanzaa. And he brought in Joe Gomez, and Joe was excellent in that regard, in that zone. Then Bradley as the fullback, then Virgil van Dijk completing the back four. And the middle of the pack, that was a big deal, bringing in Endo Ouattara, bringing in Alexis McAllister, and then of course Domenico Szoboszlai was excellent. It was a fair balance of physicality, and then of course the attacking threat on the transitions for Liverpool. Then after of obviously Javier Elliott in the channels, having Darwin Nunez, and then of course Luis Diaz. So you see, first of all, Luis Diaz is just my kind of winger. very direct, goes at you, takes you on, and make things happen. And I think it's essential about the tenacity of Luis Diaz that makes him stand out. The fact that he doesn't stop coming, he keeps on coming at you and making things happen. And that's exactly the kind of winger that he is. And you look at him and Darwin Nunez. I think in the second half, Klopp taking off Darwin Nunez and bringing in Cody Gakpo wasn't particularly the right substitution that I would have made. I don't think that it was in the interest of Liverpool the other day to take off Darwin Nunez. Nunez was also tenacious, kept on going, ran into the channels in between the lines and made things happen for Liverpool by taking him off. Of course, Pep also took off Kevin De Bruyne because it wasn't really clicking. And I think that it is the Liverpool press and suffocation and the fact that the counter press was near perfect. And this has been the core of everything that Jurgen Klopp has done in his teams in the last few years. The Jurgen pressing, the Jurgen pressing, and the fact that consistently they suffocate you, they press you, they make you make mistakes, especially in central areas. We won't necessarily press you very high, will allow you bypass the first phase, but in the second phase where you want to go to Rodri, you want to go to any of your midfielders, John Stones, the middle of the park, who are not necessarily press resistant, then would come in aggressive and win the ball. And if you look at the game, that was exactly the reason why Josep Guardiola brought on Mateo Kovacic, because he wanted somebody who was more press resistant to deal with Liverpool's aggressive press in central areas and to help progress the ball and connect the midfield and the attack, and then find ways to transit and create quality chances from deep. Because really, it was left to Rodri alone. He was consistently being suffocated. Elliott would drop into the middle of the park, add up to Endo Ouattara, and to do that job. Sometimes Alexis McAllister in there, and it was a brilliant job from the Liverpool team. And I think that in a space of 90 minutes, it's a fair result that they ended in a 1-1 draw. But really, it sets the tone for the rest of the Premier League season. And I know Arsenal will be licking their lips. They know that they need to go away to the Etihad and then show their mettle. They know they can beat Man City. Arsenal know that if they are to win the English Premier League, they have to beat Manchester City at the Etihad. It is non-negotiable. However way, it is there that, because see, if you want to be the king, you beat the king. If you want to be the king, the new king, you kill the old king. And that's the opportunity for Arsenal. You go to the Etihad, you show mettle, you show that you are the new big boy on the block, and then you unseat them. It's as straightforward as it gets. I mean, it's easier said than done, however. But then again, it's something that can be done. And Arsenal, Mikel Arteta have what it takes, and they should have the impetus to go at Arsenal, to go at Etihad, and then make things happen for themselves. So it sets the tone for it. Barcelona, of course, have been having issues in recent times in this season. And for me, Barca's issues, like I've said this season, is about 2 or 3 things. Barca's chances that they've considered this season have increased. The absence of Sergio Busquets, and of course, large part of the season without Marc-Andre Ter Stegen. I think that's it has forced them. Also, obviously in attack, also Barcelona have become more predictable in attack because Lewandowski is not getting quality chances. He's being forced to drop into central areas, and the wide combinations of João Felix coming centrally and combining and finding Lewandowski seems to be very, very predictable to opposing teams in the Spanish La Liga. And I think it's because Barca are not finding creativity in deep areas. In the middle of the park also, whilst Frankie de Jong and Ike Gundogan are excellent on the ball to progress the ball forward, the athleticism is lacking to cover ground at the back, and Aurelio doesn't even have the legs to cover that large ground that is left for him. And of course, because he also is not excellent on the ball in terms of build-up, he's being bypassed most of the time. So that's Barca's issue thus far. But the fact that Xavi, even after announcing his departure, that's going to happen at the end of the season, still keeps on getting results for FC Barcelona is huge. And I think that it's something that's good for them. And if you watch that game against Real Mallorca, everything I'm telling you was clear. Lewandowski isn't getting the goal scoring chances quality again to score the goals and be the Lewandowski that we know. Apart from that as well, the attacking combinations from outside seems to be clear. Everybody's seeing them. They're having issues in the middle of the park. There's issues with jogging. Frankie de Jong and Ilkay Gundogan, AK and Frankie, both of them are not defensively the most sound players that you can have. If you look at someone like Aurelio in the team, and that's the reason why most of the times this season you have seen Xavi even start the likes of Christensen in the middle of the park to sort of play the Sergio Busquets role. But really, Christensen is not a Sergio Busquets. He can only do so much. Rafinha played sometimes in the middle. João Felix and the combinations up top isn't really working. but the presence and the return of Marc-Andre ter Stegen has been very, very important to Barcelona. Um, Real Madrid got an excellent win also, 4 goals in there for Real Madrid, and even in the absence of Jude Bellingham, it was good. The goalie came in and then got a job done. If you look at Carlo Ancelotti for Real Madrid in the about the last few years that he has been there, consistently plays in the 4-3-3. But this season, of course, he has changed in a 4-1-2-1-2 or 4-4-2 diamond. And it's the kind of formation where you don't get a lot of natural width from outside. So essentially, you're supposed to dwell on your fullbacks. And that's why Carvajal's durability this season has been very, very important for Carlo Ancelotti. And if you see, if you see in the media that Real Madrid are trying to get a winger, I mean a fullback actually, sorry, in the summer, talking about the likes of Alphonse Davies, then this is the reason because you're not going to get a wingers to get him to do that job for you because especially in that formation, you need to get the the width from the fullbacks, and that's exactly what they are doing. And that's why sometimes the likes of Vasquez are thriving in that area because Vasquez is a natural winger. He knows exactly what to do in the final third as a winger. Fela Mendy is also more attacking as a fullback and gets to do that job very well when he pushes out the field. Because there's a lot of quality, a lot of talents in the middle of the park in Eduardo Camavinga, Rio Chimeni, Federico Valverde, Toni Kroos, and then of course Luka Modric. They tend to have a lot of quality in the middle of the park, and it accommodates them centrally so that they can have the fullbacks doing the job from outside, from the defensive area, and then pushing up. Of course, Rudiger's return was very important, and having the likes of Nacho in there with Lunin in pose, and of course Vinicius Junior, and then Rodrigo goals with Brahim Diaz starting, and later other goaler coming in seems to be very perfect. Other goalers go in the 94th minute seems to be a very, very important with a goal that definitely is going to boost his confidence. Carlo Ancelotti says that Real Madrid, you earn it. That's true. You need to earn your spot, and I think that other goaler is doing just enough to get a job done to earn his spot in there. Paris Saint-Germain played in a 2-2 draw in the French Ligue 1. But the big story is not about the scoreline of the game. The big story is definitely not about the scoreline. It's about, again, what Luis Enrique did. Luis Enrique played Kylian Mbappe in this game for just 11 minutes in there. They were down by 1-0. They played against Stade Reims, down by 1-0 in the first 7 minutes by Moneti. And then later, Gonzalo Ramos later on after an own goal made it 2-1 for Paris Saint-Germain. Later in the 45th minute, the Akite scored and made it 2-2. And then, of course, Kylian Mbappe came in the game and played only 11 minutes. 11 minutes for Paris Saint-Germain. I mean, it's something you're unexpected. But then you understand Luis Enrique. Enrique said that Mbappe is going to leave. And obviously, everybody knows this. It's a worst kept secret in world football right now. Mbappe is definitely going to leave. Luis Enrique says it's time that himself and his team, find engineering ways to play, to start preparing for life without Mbappe, because obviously he's going to go. And I think even Mbappe himself will understand for Champions League games where he needs to turn up, he can play him, but obviously he's going to go. And then the truth of the matter is that they need to find ways to play Kylian Mbappe in the team later on and play without him. Of course, Bayer Leverkusen also got an excellent win in the German Bundesliga. They beat VfL Wolfsburg by 2-0. But so you see, everybody talks about the Leverkusen team and the quality of the team that they have. And people forget how this team that is having success today has been built in the last 5 years. And it started from when they sold Julian Brandt to Dortmund. And at the time, everybody consistently were worried about how the best players in the other teams, the other leagues, in other teams in the German Bundesliga were moving to Dortmund and Bayern and whatnot. But when Julian Brandt left to Dortmund, it opened up them. At the time, in these 5 years, what Leverkusen has done, they've had a net spend of about just 54 million in building up this squad. Mind you, later on, I think after 2 years, they sold Kai Havertz to Chelsea for about 80 million. They went on, they splashed the cash, they brought in some quality players. They brought in the likes of Jeremy Frimpong. This summer, they brought in Patrick Schick at some point in time. This summer, they brought in Grimaldo. They brought in Victor Boniface. They brought in Edmond Tapsoba. All of these quality players, because they sold just 1 or 2 players with high value. They built a team. Of course, in the last one, he has been good with the likes of Grimaldo, Xhaka, and the likes coming in and adding a quality all around in the team, and it puts them in there. what they are doing is unheard of. It's quality. The whole season, they haven't had a single loss in all competitions, and I think that it is something that not just Xavi Alonso deserves all the credit, but also to the sporting director, the sporting direction of the club, and exactly where they have wanted to be. Planning the process, seeing it's a long-term process, and then now they're exactly where they want to be. The game isn't just about getting results today. In recent times, it's essentially about planning for the long term, having plans and getting the quality players, building a squad that fits the manager that you have to go and contest and get results in there. So, Bayern Leverkusen are en route to winning the German Bundesliga. Of course, this week there's Champions League. International Milan are going to be in there. Atletico de Madrid are going to be in there. We'll tell you about International Milan later. But this is excellent stuff for everything that happened in the course of the weekend. Review, post-match analysis in there. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. Thank you very much. If you are an ardent listener of Fiifi-Manfred, I want to say a very big thank you to you. Keep on. There's a lot of exciting stuff for you. Do not stop. We are going right to the top, and we'd love to start with you. Let us hear from you in the comment section. Make sure you share the channel, subscribe, turn on notification.